Welcome to Book Summary 101, the channel where we bring you clear, simple, and practical summaries of the world's greatest books. Today's summary is from Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book has become one of the most popular guides in the world for building good habits and breaking bad ones. The reason people love it so much is because it is not just theory or complicated psychology. It is full of practical tools that anyone can use in daily life. The big idea of the book is simple but powerful. Small habits, repeated consistently, have the power to create remarkable results. We often think success comes from one big change, one breakthrough moment, or one massive effort. But James Clear shows us that it is actually the small, almost invisible choices we make every day that shape our lives in the long run. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't see a difference after one day. Your teeth don't suddenly become healthy or unhealthy overnight. But when you brush every day for years, you avoid cavities, gum disease, and pain. In the same way, bad habits may seem harmless in the moment. Eating one piece of cake does not ruin your health. Spending an extra $10 does not destroy your savings. But when repeated, these small choices add up, and they can either build the life you want or the life you regret. James Clear explains this using the idea of compounding. Just as money grows through compound interest when you invest it, your habits compound when you repeat them. If you get 1% better each day for 1 year, you end up 37 times better than when you started. On the other hand, if you get 1% worse every day, you lose almost everything by the end of the year. Small actions, whether good or bad, rarely stay small, they multiply. This brings us to a common mistake people make, focusing too much on goals and not enough on systems. Many people say things like, "I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to write a book," or "I want to run a marathon." Goals give direction, but they don't guarantee progress. Everyone who runs a marathon has the same goal, to finish the race. Everyone who takes an exam has the same goal, to pass. Everyone who starts a business has the goal, to succeed. So why do some people succeed while others fail? The difference is not the goal, but the system of habits they follow every day. For example, imagine two friends, Sarah and Tom, both want to get fit. Sarah focuses on the goal. She writes, "Lose 20 pounds" on her calendar. She starts exercising when she feels motivated. She diets for a few weeks, then loses motivation when results don't come fast enough. Tom, on the other hand, focuses on the system. He creates a routine where he goes to the gym every morning at 7 a.m., no matter how he feels. He plans his meals in advance, so he doesn't have to rely on willpower in the moment. Months later, Tom is healthier and stronger, while Sarah is still stuck. This example shows that systems are more powerful than goals. But how do we actually change our habits? James Clear says the secret is identity. Most people try to change by focusing on outcomes. I want to lose weight. Some go deeper and focus on processes. I will follow this diet plan. But the deepest level of change is identity. I am a healthy person. When habits are tied to identity, they become natural. If you want to read more, don't just say, "I want to read 20 books this year." Instead, say, "I am a reader." If you want to quit smoking, don't just say, "I want to stop smoking." Instead, say, "I am not a smoker." Identity shapes behavior, and behavior reinforces identity. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Now, James Clear introduces something very useful: the 4 laws of behavior change. These are 4 simple rules to help you build good habits and break bad ones. They are: 1. Make it obvious. 2. Make it attractive. 3. Make it easy. 4. Make it satisfying. Let's explore the first law. Make it obvious. Often, we perform habits automatically without thinking because of cues around us. For example, if you see cookies on the counter, you feel like eating them, even if you're not hungry. If you hear your phone buzz, you feel the urge to check it. Habits begin with a cue. So, if you want to build good habits, you need to design your environment so the cues for good habits are visible and the cues for bad habits are hidden. Here's a simple example. If you want to practice guitar, don't keep the guitar in the closet. Put it in the middle of your living room where you can see it every day. If you want to drink more water, put a bottle of water on your desk. If you want to eat more fruits, keep them in a visible bowl on the counter. By making good habits obvious, you increase the chance of doing them. And if you want to reduce bad habits, you do the opposite. Make them invisible. If you don't want to watch too much TV, take the batteries out of the remote and put them in another room. If you don't want to eat junk food, don't bring it into the house. The second law is make it attractive. Humans are wired to repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. If you want to build a habit, make it something you enjoy or connect it with something enjoyable. James Clear introduces the concept of temptation bundling. This means pairing a habit you need to do with a habit you want to do. For example, you can only watch your favorite show while exercising on the treadmill. Or you can only listen to your favorite podcast while cleaning the house. This way, you make the habit more attractive by connecting it to pleasure. The third law is make it easy. Many people fail to build habits because they try to start too big. They decide to run 5 miles on the first day, write 2,000 words, or meditate for an hour. But habits stick when they are small and simple. James Clear suggests the 2-minute rule. This means every new habit should take less than 2 minutes at the beginning. Want to start reading? Just open the book and read 1 page. Want to start meditating? Just sit for 2 minutes in silence. Want to exercise? Just put on your workout shoes. The idea is that once you start, you often keep going, but the focus should always be make it so easy that you can't say no. The fourth law is make it satisfying. We repeat what feels good. That's why bad habits like eating junk food or scrolling social media are so addictive. They give instant rewards. But good habits often give delayed rewards. Going to the gym once doesn't make you fit. Saving money once doesn't make you rich. So, to keep going, you need to add immediate satisfaction. One way is to track your habits. For example, mark an X on the calendar every day you complete your habit. Watching the streak grow is satisfying and motivates you to continue. Another way is to reward yourself with something small, like a cup of tea after completing a workout. When you make habits satisfying, you increase the chance of sticking to them. James Clear also warns about perfection. Missing a habit once is not a problem. Everyone slips, but the danger is in missing twice because that can become the start of a new bad pattern. So the rule is, never miss twice. If you skip the gym one day, make sure you go the next. If you eat unhealthy food at one meal, make sure your next meal is healthy. Habits are not about being perfect, but about being consistent. Now that we've covered the foundations, small changes, identity, systems over goals, and the 4 laws of behavior change, we can start to see how powerful habits really are. They shape our environment, our identity, and our future. In Part 1, we explored how small habits create big results, why systems matter more than goals, how identity shapes behavior, and the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Now, in Part 2, let us go deeper. We will look at how habits are formed, why we sometimes fail even when we try hard, how to design habits that last, and why the power of environment and community can transform us more than willpower ever could. James Clear explains that every habit follows a simple loop: cue, craving, response, and reward. These 4 steps are like the invisible framework behind everything we do. Let's imagine a simple example. You feel bored in the evening. That is the cue. Your mind starts craving entertainment. That is the craving. You pick up the remote and turn on the TV. That is the response. You feel entertained and relaxed. That is the reward. Over time, this loop repeats again and again until your brain learns, when I feel bored, I watch TV. That is how a habit is born. The same loop also works for good habits. Suppose you place your running shoes near the door at night. In the morning, you see them. That is the cue. You feel the desire to be active. That is the craving. You go for a quick jog. That is the response. You feel energized and proud. That is the reward. Slowly, your brain learns. When I see my shoes, I run. This is powerful because it shows us that habits are not random. They are built on cues and rewards. If you want to change your habits, you need to become aware of the cues that trigger them. This is why James Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. Most people believe they lack willpower, but in truth, they are surrounded by cues that push them toward bad habits. Imagine a person trying to quit smoking while keeping cigarettes in the drawer, or someone trying to eat healthy while storing chips and soda in the fridge. Their environment is silently fighting against them. If they redesign their environment, change becomes easier. If you remove cigarettes from the house or replace junk food with fruits, the cues for bad habits disappear. Instead of relying on strong willpower, you simply make better choices easier. Let's explore this idea with another real-life story. A woman wanted to drink more water daily, but always forgot. James Clear advised her to place water bottles in every room of her house, on her desk, near the bed, in the living room. Suddenly, drinking water became automatic because the cues were everywhere. She didn't need reminders or apps. Her environment reminded her. This shows us that success is often not about discipline, but about design. If you design your surroundings well, good habits flow naturally. Another powerful technique in the book is habit stacking. This means linking a new habit to something you already do. For example, if you already brush your teeth every morning, you can stack another small habit right after it, such as flossing or drinking a glass of water. The formula is simple. After I, current habit, I will, new habit. Suppose you want to start reading more. You can say, after I pour my morning coffee, I will read 1 page. Over time, 1 page may turn into 2, then into a whole chapter. Or suppose you want to meditate. You can say, after I brush my teeth at night, I will meditate for 2 minutes. By connecting the new habit to an existing one, your brain finds it easier to remember. Habit stacking works because it ties your new routine to something stable. If you only rely on memory, you will often forget. But if you attach it to something you always do, it becomes automatic. Now, let's talk about tracking habits. Humans love to see progress. When you check off a task, when you see numbers going up, when you notice improvement, it motivates you. This is why habit tracking is so powerful. You can use a notebook, a calendar, or even a simple app. Every time you complete a habit, you record it. It may seem small, but that visual proof keeps you moving. James Clear says, don't break the chain. Each day you keep the streak alive, it becomes harder to quit. But Clear also gives an important warning. Never aim for perfection. Missing once is fine. Everyone forgets sometimes, but never miss twice. Missing twice creates a pattern that can break the habit. If you miss your workout today, make sure you do it tomorrow. If you eat unhealthy at one meal, make sure your next meal is healthy. The strength of a habit comes not from being perfect, but from being consistent. Another idea from the book is the plateau of latent potential. This describes why many people quit too soon. When you start a habit, you may not see results right away. Imagine trying to lose weight. You go to the gym for 2 weeks, but the scale barely moves. You feel frustrated and think, "This isn't working." But in reality, progress is happening under the surface. James Clear compares this to heating an ice cube in a cold room. At first, the temperature rises from 25 degrees to 26, 27, 28. But the ice doesn't melt. You keep heating, but still nothing changes. Then, at 32 degrees, suddenly the ice begins to melt. All those earlier degrees were not wasted. They were building up to a breakthrough. Habits work the same way. You may not see results for weeks or even months, but every repetition is building momentum, and one day the results become visible. That is why Clear says you must fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. If you only focus on results, you will quit when they don't come quickly. But if you focus on showing up every day, enjoying the act of running, writing, reading, or cooking, then results will come naturally, often when you least expect them. Another interesting idea is the 2-minute rule. Many people set goals that are too big and then fail. The 2-minute rule says, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes. If you want to start reading, just read 1 page. If you want to start writing, just write 1 sentence. If you want to exercise, just put on your workout shoes. Why? Because the hardest part of any habit is starting. Once you start, you usually keep going. Think of it like this. The goal is not to do the habit perfectly, but to show up. If you just put on your running shoes, chances are you will run a little. If you open the book, chances are you will read more than 1 page. By lowering the barrier, you make it easier to begin. And once beginning becomes automatic, the habit grows naturally. James Clear also reminds us of the role of community. Humans are social creatures. We copy the behaviors of people around us, often without realizing it. If your friends eat fast food, you will likely eat fast food. If your family values education, you will likely read and learn more. This is why choosing the right environment and community is so important. Clear suggests joining groups where your desired habit is the normal behavior. If you want to exercise, join a running club. If you want to write, join a writer's group. If you want to grow financially, surround yourself with people who manage money wisely. When you are part of a group, you don't just rely on your own willpower. You follow the group's culture, and culture is one of the most powerful forces shaping behavior. Let's pause and reflect. So far in this part, we've learned that habits are built through the loop of cue, craving, response, and reward. We've seen how environment and design matter more than willpower, how habit stacking and tracking make routines stronger, how the 2-minute rule lowers the barrier, and how community helps us stay consistent. But Atomic Habits goes even further. It teaches us not only how to build habits, but also how to align them with our identity, recover from failures, and choose habits that truly shape the life we want. In the earlier parts of this summary, we explored how small daily habits compound into big results, why systems matter more than goals, how identity shapes behavior, and how the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Help us build routines that last. We also learned about cues, cravings, responses, and rewards, the role of environment, the 2-minute rule, and the importance of community in shaping our actions. Now, in this final part, let's dive deeper into how to make habits stick for life, how to avoid falling back into old patterns, and how to choose the right habits that match the kind of person we want to become. James Clear makes a powerful point. Good habits make time your ally, while bad habits make time your enemy. Imagine two people. One has the habit of saving a small amount of money every month. At first, the savings don't look like much, but after years, they grow into financial freedom. Another person spends recklessly every month. At first, the debt looks small, but after years, it becomes a heavy burden. The same time passes for both people, but habits determine whether time helps you or hurts you. This shows us why it is so important to be intentional with our daily routines. Another concept Clear explains is the danger of automatic living. When something becomes a habit, we do it without thinking. This is useful when the habit is positive, like brushing teeth, exercising, or saying thank you. But it can be dangerous when the habit is negative. For example, many people reach for their phones the moment they wake up. They don't even think about it. It has become automatic. Over time, this small action shapes their mornings, their focus, and even their mental health. That's why Clear encourages us to reflect on our habits regularly. Ask yourself, are these habits helping me become the person I want to be? Or are they leading me in the wrong direction? Even if the effect is small today, remember that small actions, when repeated for years, shape your destiny. This connects to one of the most important lessons of the book. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. No single action defines you, but the more votes you cast, the stronger your identity becomes. If you go to the gym today, you cast a vote for being a fit person. If you write one page, you cast a vote for being a writer. If you save $5, you cast a vote for being financially disciplined. The goal is not to be perfect, but to keep casting votes in the right direction until your identity becomes clear and strong. But what happens when we fail? After all, everyone slips sometimes. James Clear reassures us that missing once is not the end of the world. The real danger is letting one miss turn into a pattern. That's why he says, never miss twice. If you miss one workout, do the next one. If you eat unhealthy at one meal, make sure your next meal is healthy. Habits are built not by avoiding mistakes completely, but by recovering quickly when mistakes happen. Another tool James Clear suggests is the habit contract. This is when you make your habit public by involving other people. For example, you can make an agreement with a friend. If you skip the gym, you pay a small penalty, or if you miss your writing deadline, you owe them dinner. By adding accountability, you make the cost of skipping higher. Since humans are social creatures who care about reputation and trust, this kind of accountability helps many people stick with their habits. Clear also highlights that the difference between winners and losers is rarely about goals. Most people in a competition share the same goals. Every student wants to pass. Every athlete wants to win. Every entrepreneur wants success. The difference lies in habits and systems. The Olympic gold medalist is not someone with a different goal, but someone who built stronger daily routines. This reminds us to stop chasing outcomes and instead fall in love with the process. Now let's talk about keystone habits. These are habits that influence many other parts of life. For example, exercising regularly doesn't just make you fit, it improves your mood, sleep, energy, and even relationships. Cooking at home doesn't just save money, it improves health, strengthens family bonds, and reduces stress. Reading daily doesn't just give knowledge, it makes you calmer, wiser, and more creative. By focusing on keystone habits, you get multiple benefits from a single action. Another deep lesson in Atomic Habits is about continuous improvement. James Clear uses the example of the British cycling team. For many years, they were weak and unsuccessful. Then, under a new coach, they started focusing on small improvements in every area. Better bike seats, better nutrition, better clothing, even better pillows for sleeping while traveling. None of these changes alone made a huge difference, but together they turned the team into Olympic champions. This principle is called the aggregation of marginal gains. Tiny improvements added together create extraordinary results. Clear also warns us about the trap of achieving a goal and then stopping. Many people work hard to lose weight, and once they do, they relax and regain it. Others save money for a trip, and once the trip is over, they stop saving. This happens because they treated success as a finish line instead of a lifestyle. True success is not about reaching one goal, it's about becoming the kind of person who naturally lives that way. Don't just train for one marathon, become a runner. Don't just save for one goal, become a saver. Don't just clean your house once, become a tidy person. When habits become part of your identity, you don't have to fight to maintain them. They flow naturally. Clear also points out that good habits build confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove that you can be trusted. You build self-respect. On the other hand, every time you break a promise, you weaken that trust. This is why it's better to start small and succeed than to start big and fail. Reading one page daily is better than planning to read 50 and giving up after 2 days. Success is built by small wins that compound into big victories. Finally, James Clear leaves us with the most important message. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money grows when you invest a little over time, your habits shape your life when you repeat them consistently. The question is not whether small habits matter today. The real question is, what kind of person will I become if I repeat this habit for years? Your future is hidden in your daily routines. To summarize, Atomic Habits teaches us that real change doesn't come from sudden breakthroughs or massive motivation. It comes from small actions repeated daily that align with our identity and are supported by smart systems and environments. If you design your habits wisely, time will become your ally and success will become inevitable. Thank you for listening to this summary of Atomic Habits. If you found it valuable, please subscribe to Book Summary 101 and press the bell icon so you never miss our future summaries. This channel is made for book lovers who want to keep learning and growing every day.